Guruji. So get straight into it. So I think a lot of people have heard my satsangs, but I will anyway recap. So Guruji has healed me of many physical ailments and a lot of emotional turmoils also. So I feel, and Guruji, as he used to say in his words, he said, "Main tonu taran aaya." So he came in the form of Guruji, in this form, in this yug, in this era, which is Kali. So Guruji has come literally to uplift mankind, to uplift humanity, as we, as he used to say, have lost the way. तुसी पुल्ले पलायो, तुसी पुल्लियों के रब है. So रब हर युग में आते हैं. He descends the earth when mankind needs him the most, because God is all compassionate, all merciful. So Guruji came in his all merciful state to remind us and to reconnect us to divinity. Now when I came to Guruji, as I said, I had a plethora of health issues. I was literally on my deathbed, and when he healed me of my skin in 98, he said very clearly, without a grain of doubt, that you have no life. After December 97, you had gone to see an astrologer. You consulted an astrologer, and he had said that आपकी पत्री में, आपके horoscope में कोई life नहीं है December 97 पर. उसने बोला था या नहीं? Guruji asked me. I said हाँ जी गुरुजी बोला था. तो he said फिर कौन बड़ा, तेरा गुरु या तेरा astrologer? हम दुख में सब इंसान इधर उधर भटकते हैं. It's human nature, because we get so restless and we get so agitated with our issues. We are filled with so much angst that we need instant answers. So all of us, without fail, we will consult astrologers or tarot card readers. But he said, जब आप गुरुजी पास आ जाते हो, तो आपको इधर उधर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है, because he is literally the master of the universe. He is our most benevolent, most merciful savior, and once we bow to him and we surrender to him, which is a very big word, then he completely takes over our lives and every aspect of our lives, big and small, the most significant to the insignificant, to the smallest to the largest. So he is magnanimous, Guruji. I mean, there is no doubt, and I'm not the only one, not the only individual who has experienced and witnessed a change, a sea change in my life. I'm just one of many, lakhs, millions world over who have experienced Guruji's love, his grace, his graciousness upon their lives. And Guruji said, कि मेरे जान तो बाद देखी नीता, कि जगह जगह मेरी जोत जलेगी. Across every continent, country, city in the world is going to have satsangs. मैं जब चले जाऊंगा, लोगों को समझ आएगी कि रब आया सी, पर रब दी कदर नहीं हुई. लोकी अपनी शॉपिंग लिस्ट लेने ने सोचते ने कि मैं दुकान खोली हुई है. So that shopping list would be translated into कि गुरुजी मुझे नई गाड़ी दे दीजिए, या मुझे नई घर दे दीजिए, बड़ा घर दे दीजिए. It could be anything material. We are material people, so we will ask for material, because like Guruji said कि तुहानू दीवार तक नजर आंदा है, मैनू बहुत अगे नजर आंदा है. So we have a myopic vision, he has an infinite vision. His vision is boundless, as is his grace. So उनको अपनी boundless vision से हमें पूरी हमारे इस incarnation, पिछला incarnation, पिछले many incarnations और अगला incarnation सब दिखता है गुरुजी को. So he said, जब तुसी मत्था टेकते हो, एक चीज मांगो, सिर्फ भक्ति और शक्ति, कि अपने चरणों में रखो गुरुजी, surrender करना सिखा दो गुरुजी, अपने पास जोड़े रखना, because that is the be all and end all of our existence. That is truly what is most critical to our existence and most prime to our spiritual journey. Just him, his teachings, his gyan, his wisdom. And that enables us to live life most meaningfully and most purposefully. So today I have been asked to share how the divine light came about. Now this is also his merit. My first book was Turning the Page. Turning the Page was also his grace after he left his body, and I had entered a new phase in my life, a new chapter. He just made me write, and I'm telling you without exaggeration that Turning the Page was written in a month. It came straight from the heart, and it was all about how I had met Guruji. It is my first baby, my debut, so it is very close to my heart, Turning the Page. And it was how I met Guruji and about all my challenges on meeting Guruji. It is never plain sailing, it is never a bed of roses, because we have to go through our karmic journey, and that karmic journey is never plain sailing. It is never a walk in the park. It has many thorns, many difficulties that we have to surpass. But like Guruji said, "Main tuada haath pakadna, aur je na tu farda baasi rul jana si." So without his support, his love, him holding our hand to go through the karmic journey, it is impossible for us to go through it, because we're bound to stumble, we are bound to fall, and sometimes when we fall, it is very difficult to rise again until and unless he gives us the strength, the prowess to rise again. It is all him. And so if he chooses his medium, so I won't say that I wrote Turning the Page, he made me write Turning the Page, but it was straight from the heart, and it was completely cathartic for me. It healed me from my many emotional wounds, and it enabled me to find a new perspective on life. It was very difficult for me when I wrote Turning the Page. I was going through a very dark phase, and it was a very uncertain time in my life, and I didn't know whether there was light at the end of the tunnel. But by writing that book and by gaining kind of appreciation and acknowledgement from the readers, at that time Sangat was few and far between. There was, Sangat was growing, but slowly but surely. And then suddenly there was a huge gush of Sangat world over, like he said, jaga jaga, across every continent, country, city in the world and town in the world is going to have satsangs. It was unimaginable to me when he said this. I thought, hum to chote mandir mein baithte hain aur we're a handful of sangat. Ye kabhi hoega Guruji? And at that time people were not receptive. When the few of us would be sitting with him, we would be judged upon and criticized and condemned for sitting with him, because they would say, oh, only the weak go to Guruji, only the weak have this need of an anchor of a guru. So, but we knew that we were not the lost ones, as people used to say, "Ye to bhatki hui hai, you lost soul hai." We knew that we had found something very extraordinary, inexplicable, that cannot be measured or quantified in words. His love, as we know, is unfathomable and bountiful, and we know that his bounty cannot be condensed in a few words. But what we can do, and what he has enabled me to do, is compile a book known as The Divine Light. And so after writing Turning the Page, then it's like we open, the tap, and then, the water flows, and that's how my inspiration started flowing, uncontainably. So it was not able to be contained, so I just, the seed is sown by him always. So again, I got on my laptop, and it's a continuation of Turning the Page. So the main narrative is my journey and my satsangs, and then I wove in other people's satsangs, other sangats, and it happened on its own. It was almost effortless, because when Sangat got to know that this book is being written, then the Sangat would just send emails and say that please at my satsang. So this is how it came to fruition. And as I said, you take the first step, but Guruji takes 1,000 towards you. So the journey of 1,000 steps always starts with a single step. So I started a single step. I said, okay, I was in Manchester in those days. That's another satsang when Guruji, before he left his body, he said, "Tu apni maa di seva kar, वापस इंग्लैंड जा और उसे सत्संग शुरू करी और जगह जगह जाई सत्संग करेंगी तो तेरी सेवा है." So also on just a little note on seva. So seva, whatever Guruji gives you, it is for our own kalyan. He used to say, सत्संग करन वाला और सुनन वाला दोनों तरफ मेरी blessings चल गया ने तो दोनों का कल्याण हो रहा है. Now the other thing is any seva it could be. For me, it's the sharing of satsang, which he has showered his grace upon, or writing, or my calligraphy. It's all him. And or it could be any seva कि सत्संग करना घर में अपने संगत को बुलाना, लंगर सेवा, कोई भी सेवा can come in any form. But वो सेवा से आप do it with full sanctity and love and devotion, because that seva is actually expiating our own karmas and lifting our vibration and raising us on a higher platform spiritually. So it is enabling us to evolve and to grow the way he wanted us to. Because in the end he said, "Anita, mere vaste cancer, divorce, ये diabetes, कोई भी बीमारी हो, मेरे वास्ते ए ठीक करना बड़ी मामूली चीज़ है. तुहानू ठीक करना मुश्किल है, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ कर्म ठीक करना मुश्किल है, क्योंकि तुसी अपने आप में सुधारते नहीं. हम आज अपना अच्छा करेंगे तो कल फिर बुरा करेंगे, सोचते भी नहीं बुरा करने के वक्त. फिर जब रियलाइज करते हैं, because with coming to Guruji regularly, our conscience awakens and we do want to be better people, and then we watch our every thought, word and action. And जो thoughts negative भी आती हैं किसी के बारे में भी, या वैसे generally हमारे बारे में भी, अपनी life के बारे में, तो we become aware of it now with Guruji's grace. By being in his charan, by being in his fold, we have become aware. So with this awareness, we then shift that negative to positive. And जैसे गुरुजी ने सिखाया है कि एक चुप 100 सुख. So बोलने के पहले भी हम सोचते हैं, किसी की निंदा करने से पहले भी हम सोचते हैं, चाहे करें या ना करें उसके बाद, पर सोचते हैं कि is it worth it? No. जज करना, is it worth it? So गुरुजी ABC जो बोलते थे, accuse, abuse, be say blame and criticize, ये करना हमारे कम हो जाते हैं. काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, अहंकार खत्म नहीं होते. हम इंसान हैं, वो हमारे अंदर है, लेकिन हमारे काबू में आ जाते हैं. They come under our control. With time, with doing a lot of वही सत्संग सेवा सिमरन. So सत्संग करने से और सत्संग अटेंड करने से, चाहे आप फैमिली में अटेंड कर रहे हो now during the COVID times, सत्संग सेवा सिमरन भी आप गुरुजी के पास बैठना अकेले बहुत जरूरी है, because that is your inner journey. सत्संग attending is outer and inner, पर जो हम सिमरन करते हैं अकेले बैठ के गुरुजी के साथ, वो है real connection. So just to converse with him, just to be with him, just to offload ourselves to him, we all need it, right? We all need to offload ourselves emotionally, because each one of us, like Guruji said, Nanak Dukhya Sab Sansar, each one of us has a baggage of karmas, and we all have issues. They may be on the financial level or the emotional level, which is, we might be hurt from a divorce or a broken relationship, or generally just with very sensitive, and even our relationship with our own kith and kin sometimes are strained. So it could be on any reason. And then the physical level, illnesses, which I had, as I said, quite a plethora of, an ocean of actually. So, even after Guruji left his body, I have 3 tumors. I had breast cancer, then I had autoimmune disease. So the journey was not, as I said, plain sailing. But like Guruji said, Chinta nu chintan vich badlo, turn the worry into worship. and just keep doing the mantra jap. It is our savior. It is the source of all strength and power. So just keep reciting the mantra jap, mani man, andar, but consciously. When we say कि हाँ हमारे घर में तो शब्द चलता रहता है externally, it's important to focus and to center ourselves. So without further ado, I would like to read a little bit, if I may, with your consent, a little bit from the book. So this is a little note I wrote to Guruji at the beginning of the book. Beloved Guruji, so let no man in the world live in delusion. Without a guru, none can cross over to the other shore. Quote unquote, Guru Nanak Ji. Let us be the medium of your expression, Guruji, to inspire those in darkness and to inject joy into those who long to enrich the journey of their lives by seeking your sacred love. Because in the end, it is a journey of the soul. It is a spiritual journey. Guruji used to say, "Sab kuch nita ete reh jana hai, सिर्फ नाम दी कमाई नाल जानी है, ते नाम मांग लो, असली चीज मांग लो, जो मैं देना है। बहुत छोटी परसेंटेज लोग मांगते हैं, तो वो मांग लो, असली चीज मांग लो, तो बाकी दुनिया की चीजें तो आपकी पीछे पीछे मांगेंगी। तो जब हम मत्था टेकते हैं, बस इतना मांगे, गुरुजी हमें आपका नाम दे दो और उसमें रस हमें मिले, एंड वही हमारे बी ऑन एन एंड ऑल ऑफ आवर एग्जिस्टेंस हो जाए, वही हमारा पर्पस, वही हमारा डेस्टिनेशन, वही हमारा रूट, सब कुछ वही हो गुरुजी। So let us be the instrument of your purpose, Guruji, by paving the way of faith and surrender for others to follow. We, the torchbearers, each one of us, have bowed before your feet, sat in your divine aura to be entrenched in your eternal love. You taught us, Guruji, to love and trust again, and unveiled the illusory pleasures that are both transient and often self-destructive. You placed a mirror before us to show us our true reflection. You polished and scrubbed off us of our karmic filth and made us worthy of your love. Let us always do that which makes you proud of us. Let us remain ever true to you by not erring or going astray. Loosen the shackles of our desires, Guruji, and tighten your own loving grip on us. You are the ever-blooming flower, and we the bees that come to you for your divine nectar. Let us remain into your fold and at your lotus feet. Bestow on us your grace, your compassion, your love, and prepare us, Guruji, for our onward journey. We offer you our humble satsangs and experiences of truth, written in words that cannot possibly capture your infinite grace. They are nevertheless shared purely in the spirit of inspiring and kindling cast iron faith in others to help them eradicate all the darkness from their lives to emerge into your eternal light. Jai Guruji. Now I would... Okay, so can I read the foreword and the pro? I'll just carry on reading. So, the spirituality of wonder knows the world is charged with grace, that while sin and war, disease and death are terribly real, God's loving presence and power in our midst are even more real. A wonder at the most basic level is something that astounds us, inspires us, and takes our breath away. Wonders in the field of spirituality are testimonies of the power of faith and a clear evidence of the presence of divine forces in the world. And wonders that create faith are synonymous with miracles. And this book is exactly that. It's a compilation of miracles as we understand it. But of course the miracle, the greatest miracle, is our life itself. That we are born in the human form so that we are able to attain divinity, to find the divinity within us, and then to finally merge into the light, Guruji's light. Guruji's temple is full of wonders. Its divine pulse can be felt in its silence, and through the connection the devotee makes with it, a connection that helps the individual to experience further miracles. In fact, its unique and exceptional attributes are validated by those who came before us, their experiences, more often than not, drawing us deeper into the realm of wonder. It is a peep into a subject so vast and uncontainable that a few man-made words can never quite capture its essence and spirit. The supreme architect and artist, Guruji himself, erected this wonderful structure known as Bade Mandir today. But it is a sacred onus of the devotee to surround oneself with prayers as well as the divine vibration of the temple, to protect oneself from the negative elements, seen and unseen, tangible and intangible. With Guruji's grace, I, with the help of other devotees, have endeavoured to bring some of these sublime experiences to my readers in the spirit of sharing and inspiring. It is also important to know that even though I may have been typing the words, it is His will, His words, and completely His doing. This book is about Him, by Him, our beloved Guruji. As your faith is surrendered, you will find that there is no longer the need to have a sense of control, that things will flow as they will, and that you will flow with them to your great delight and benefit. Here I have to just share a satsang about control and how important it is to relinquish control. This is my latest satsang. Not everyone has probably heard it, and it is a very powerful satsang. 2.5, 3 weeks ago almost, my younger daughter met with an accident in Dubai. She was on a quad bike for my elder daughter's 30th birthday. So she was on a quad bike celebrating, and the quad bike tumbled. Now when it tumbled, half her face was completely swollen and wounded, and she had fractured her the eye bone here, and there was a fracture here in the nose, and she was her lips were out, and there was injuries all over her face, half her face. It was a very sorry sight, and as a mother it was heartbreaking. And you know, when I saw her in the morning, because it happened the night before, it was Friday night it happened, I met her Saturday morning, and I was completely devastated, and my whole world just tumbled. And you know, at that time it's very easy for me when I share my satsangs to say कि चिंता को चिंतन में बदलो, but at that time I was totally out of balance. I had lost my sense of I would say equanimity and equilibrium, and I didn't know what to do. So I just cried. I mean, simply I just cried, not in front of her, but I went to my room and I looked at Guruji's Sarup and I said, my God, I can't believe what's happened. She went to celebrate and she's come back completely injured, and her body, she was lying and it was all bruised, and of course she was bruised here, and she couldn't open her mouth, she couldn't open her eyes at that point. It was completely injured, and I would give her liquid food, juices and soups. So it was a heartbreaking point. Now I think for a few hours I couldn't even pray to Guruji, and then of course Guruji is the be all and end all. He's our cure, he's our medicine, as we all know. He's a medicine for and the cure for this Kalyug. And it shows the volatility of the times that we live in, the uncertainty and the unpredictability, because one minute she's fine, the next minute she's like this. So she's shaken the very core of our lives. Anishka, my elder daughter, she was nursing her, and I would just comfort her. But at this point, I could not turn to Guruji because I was numb with emotion, and I was totally immobilized. And then after a few hours I went to him and I then played the mantra jap, and I played the mantra jap to her, and in fact she said, can I have Guruji's Sarup under my pillow? I said yes, yes, of course. So I shook myself out of this dismal, you know, kind of emotion that I was in, and I said yes, of course you can. So I took the Sarup and I placed it under her pillow, and then it dawned on me that I must read the Shipran to her. Now Guruji's ways are mystic and they are most wondrous, because 2 weeks before the accident there is this worldwide Sangat again, and they'd asked me if I would like to read the Shipran. And I said, yes, I would be delighted, and I was very excited. I said, I'm not the most brilliant reader, but I would love to. You've given me this wonderful opportunity to be on this platform because Guruji had anyway said that to Shipran Padya Kar in his physical when he was there. And he had blessed 4 volumes or 5 volumes of my Shipran, and personally had written blessings always. So, but during the COVID times, when I had gone to Dubai, I was there for a whole year. Guruji had kept me there with my daughters. So I wasn't carrying the Shipran with me because naturally I was only there for 2 weeks. What did I know that the whole world would be under lockdown? So I would be there and not here. So I said, wonderful. So, Sangat, Rohit Kapoor, he sent the Shipran to my neighbor Varsha, who's a huge Guruji Sangat, and she further sent it to me. There's always a way. This Guruji connects all the dots. We have actually nothing to worry about, but as humans, we worry about the smallest, as I say, to the biggest. But of course, at this point, I was reading the Shipran then, weekly, and then when Sonakshi's accident happened, Guruji had reminded me of the Shipran. So I said to Sonakshi, you lie on my bed and I will read it to you. And I said it hesitatingly to her because I didn't think she would be receptive, because some children are, some aren't. And I said, you don't need to understand it, because her eyes were anyway shut and I could see she was suffering emotionally and physically. I said, you just lie down on my bed and I will sit next to you and I will read it to you. You don't need to understand its meaning. You just absorb the vibrations of the Shipran. So she did. And she did. She was receptive. So this was his grace. And then on the second, third day, after reading, she just said, Mom, I said, Sonakshi, let's make you sit in the living room. It will be a change of scenery. The minute she sat there, she goes, aren't you going to read the Shipran to me today? I said, yeah, of course I am. Let's go to the bedroom and I'll again read it. So she again lay down, and every time she'd lie down, she would fall asleep. She would get into a slumber, which was a very good sign because Guruji was healing her during that time. And she'd wake up and say, can I have samosa prasad, or can I have something related to Guruji and his grace? So, and then the girl's father said, you come back to India because the medical is better, because this doctor in Dubai has suggested surgery for her. So that was a very frightening time because I thought, poor girl, she's having surgery on her. It's a very delicate, very sensitive surgery. So we obviously want to show her the best and make sure that Guruji guides us to the best. So meanwhile, we booked our flights and we reached the airport, and at the check-in counter, we all get our boarding passes. There's 5 of us traveling at that point. And the other gentleman was also Sangat, who was traveling with us. And there was Sonakshi's friend. So 5 of us. Anishka, Sonakshi, I, one was Sangat, and Sonakshi's friend. 5 of us are traveling. We go through security, we go through the entire process, and we reach the departure gate. And the gentleman behind checks all the passports. When he looks at mine, he permits everyone else to go, to board. And he looks at me and said, ma'am, you can't travel. My whole world crumbles. Initially, I thought it's a joke. I said, why not? I've got my boarding pass. Of course, I'm traveling. My daughter I was wheeling the wheelchair. I was wheeling her on the wheelchair. And I said, I'm traveling with my daughter. She's not well. And she has an impending surgery in India. He said, ma'am, you're on the wrong visa. You're on a tourist visa, British passport, sorry. India has banned you from coming as of now. And if you go, even if we allow you to go, they might deport you or blacklist you. Would you want that? I said, wow, that's dramatic. So I tried alternatively. The Sangat was very gracious and kind. He said, the one that was with me, he said, girls, you go, including Sonakshi's friend. You carry on because you're